Hey everyone, welcome to Sunday Nights with Faye Seidler. That's me, Faye Seidler. It's Sunday night. We're doing this. It's the news. You're gonna like it, probably. So the first thing I just want to talk about is I wrote an LTE, Do Not Lose Faith in a Better World. It's an article talking about just ways that we can center ourselves when things feel scary and or turbulent in America. So last week, if you haven't heard, former President Trump there was an attempted assassination, and just this week, current President Biden says that he will be stepping down and not running for re-election for 2024. So I don't think anyone really knows what's going to happen in the world, but that doesn't matter because we have each other. What I really talk about is when the world feels very big, remember the small things. That is your friends, your family, your pets, the things you do have agency over and control. And at the end of the day, you don't yourself need to move mountains. North Dakota is a state of 800,000, and we each need to carry a stone to get somewhere. What does that mean? It means being kind to yourself, being kind to others, and know that it is always worth hoping for a better future. Every day we wake up is a chance to get there. So that's what the article is about. Getting into just my general news and some politics news or policy, like politics isn't like bad. Like I feel like I have to it's how we fund things like roads, like that's politics. Speaking of how we fund things, there's an LTE about property taxes being very important for the structures of our communities as well as the agency of smaller communities to have local control. I think that's a big thing coming up in 2025, so I'm going to keep on sharing articles from everyone I know and respect about how we make society good for people in North Dakota. Property taxes are something that helps that out. I think there are cases for maybe if you are lower income to have reductions on that, but I think we want to make sure that we are not giving levy to larger corporations that own multi-million dollar or billion-dollar companies who maybe don't need that tax break so much. In other political news, I talked about this last week, but I just want to let you know the Minot Women's Network, a group in Minot that is looking at a lot of body autonomy and reproductive justice, is having they'll be hosting the first annual Minot Community Potluck Barbecue and Membership Drive in partnership with League of Women Voters of Plum Valley, as well as Badass Grandmas for Democracy. A lot of organizations that do nonpartisan work to empower individuals to be aware of issues and generally vote. Basically, if you're in Minot and you're interested in stuff like that, check them out, get involved. While a lot of these are Women's Network, League of Women Voters, they are open to voters of all genders. Moving into healthcare news, there's an article about how to cope when your community is under attack, and this could be a lot of different communities. I want to share this. It's important. It's something I'm working towards, especially with the loss of Nick Benedict earlier this year. But basically, the best way to heal is resiliency by connecting to each other and reminding us that we have community. And regardless of some tragedies, we are relatively safe. This was shared by the Treatment Center for Traumatized Youth, and I want to shout them out as they've been doing and sharing incredible work and offering great training opportunities. You should like and follow them. They deserve it, and they do great work. I want to also talk about there being a Surgeon General call for warnings on social media. I am very conflicted on this in general because I know that while social media can be a negative feature that increases depression, anxiety, and things like that within youth, it's also the only avenue for benefit for many youth too. I I don't think we have a solution on the table. I don't think it's a solution to ban social media, but I think it's worth being aware that there are helpful and harmful things that can happen, and to maybe have conversations about that and pay attention. I think there are kids who experience cyberbullying and don't know how to talk about that, or if they should, or maybe they're just accept it as part of life. And cyberbullying is the same impact as bullying, which is not good for anyone's mental health. There's a lot to it. I just want to talk about this is a conversation we're having nationally. Speaking of help when hurt happens, there's a story on First Link that is talking about 988 now having 2 years of shelf life. I think it's 2 years of shelf life, or we're entering into year two. I guess I don't know that offhand. I feel like it was just yesterday, honestly. But it covers the Health and Human Service Department as well as First Link, the nonprofit that answers our 988 call center, and does really phenomenal work and has been. I actually was one of the individuals that helped to nominate Jennifer Illage, the director of First Link, from the very honest belief that the work they do is life-saving. In addition to all that good news is you can get flyers printed for your organization for free that you can get from our Health and Human Service Department. So you can have 98 flyers about health, hope, and healing to hang up. You don't have to pay any money for it. They'll send it to you. It's just free. Like, it's stuff you can hang up. It has an impact. It's important. So I want you to be aware of that. In other news, Welcome Homes in Bismarck is offering essential community aid, especially for individuals and families who have experienced homelessness. They also are asking for help. A lot of our nonprofits that work in this field, funding isn't always there for it, and less people are donating because everyone's feeling the squeeze. But if there's any way that you are able to help, it's another important cause that can use more of it. For our LGBTQ plus forecast, just some events for queer individuals, a lot of stuff happening in August, mostly in Fargo, but we also have a Turtle Mountain event. In August 7th, the Pride Collective and Community Center is having an open house. One of the first ones I think they've had in years, unless I'm wrong about that, and I could be. They don't have a lot. I'll stake my reputation on that. So that's coming up August 7th. August 8th through 11th, that's coming up in just like 3 weeks here, is going to be Fargo Moorhead Pride, huge event. Thousands of people attend that. And then August 10th, there's going to be two things happening. The Red River Rainbow Senior Social, that will be happening August 10th. And in Turtle Mountain, they're having the Turtle Mountain Two Spirit Society Drag Show. And that's a big annual event that draws hundreds of people, maybe thousands, to Turtle Mountain to check that all out. That's happening August 10th. Then I just want to round this off with important events coming up. There is going to be the Chocolate for Change fundraiser for the YWCA happening September 5th. And also on September 5th is the North Dakota Suicide Prevention Conference in Bismarck. There's a bunch of events. You can find all of them on my weekly report. I share both community events and professional development events. So any way that you want to or can be involved. I just want to say with sharing this news, I know that I share a wide net of news. Like, it's something that I know most of it probably doesn't apply to any individual, but there's probably one thing that does impact someone listening that could be useful for them is when you share this stuff with other people. I have a few hundred people that engage with the show and the emails I send out, but you are all connected to dozens of more people, and you know what's going on in their life in the nonprofit world, and you might know a person who is a doctor that could benefit from something, or a child advocacy expert who wants to get in on some of the grants or research that happens. You might know a queer individual who wants to attend one of these events and doesn't know about it. The show and the value in the show is that you can share this out to people in your life. And I know that, like I mentioned, not all of it's going to impact every individual watching it, but I know that the more that we talk about these resources and get them out, the more we are connected, the more we de-silo this work, and the more that we all can breathe easier. So as I talk about hope in the beginning and talk about the ways we can frame that and kind of connect and build hope and resiliency in the chaos that we find our lives in, it is through those connection pieces. And it's trying, it's reaching out and saying, hey, this seems cool. I thought of you. That builds hope. That's what the show should be really seen in, is all these opportunities to share with other people, or in to direct them to like, watch, subscribe to this show, but mostly just so they can get involved with these resources. As a final point, just if you know of stuff happening, let me know. I can't know everything. I do so much work to try, but I need help. So if you have stuff going on, email me and I will put it into the rotation and people will know about it. I promise that. So that's what I have for my opening news. I'm going to move into protect trans kids and nonprofit help. Just some help with nonprofit. Thanks for joining me tonight. Thanks for seeing my opening news. That's what I got. I'm still fantastic at endings, right? And then I go like. All right, for this section, we're going to be talking about protecting trans kids, which is really important as trans kids really could use some help. I have a fun little background, so if you feel sad, just look at how fun the background is. Trans rights are human rights. However, the first thing is really great news, and that is the Trans Youth Emergency Project is open up in North Dakota, and this is incredible. It is a phenomenal opportunity for individuals and families to reach out and ask, how do I get help for my kid who is trans and needs care? And they help you with that. They help coordinate care for trans youth looking for medically appropriate and necessary care for themselves, whether that be therapy, whether that be medical interventions of some kind. They help these families out, and they can also provide up to $500 of support, especially if families have cost burdens to be able to get medically necessary care for their kids. It is a phenomenal opportunity, and it's so great for me because this is mostly work I do, right? But I'm an individual. Like, I can't do everything for everyone across our state. So I welcome opportunities like this. I can come in and share some of the work that I have and can help these families out and make those connections across the nation that I don't have. They are connected across the nation. They can tell you what's going on in Missouri. That's a state, right? I don't know. I'm North Dakota, and that's all I know. So it's incredible. Um, so that you can reach out to them if you know of any families struggling to find care for their kiddo, and they can help you. I'll remind people that medical care for trans individuals is supported by every major medical association. It is not a political feature. It's not a lifestyle. It's not a cosmetic choice people make, and there is decades of research on this now. I don't work in politics. I work in healthcare. I work in suicide prevention, and I've been doing data and I've been looking at data in this for years, decades. I helped start a clinic with a doctor who also did research into this for a long time to determine what was medically necessary and appropriate. This is care some kids need, and this organization is going to make it more possible, and that's fantastic. They are being supported by the North Dakota Human Rights Coalition, which is also great. Again, I'm one person. I welcome the support for these organizations to be able to come in, use the resources and connections I've been building to make sure that we can find therapists for these kids, help for these kids, support for these kids. We are all in this fight together. Speaking of North Dakota Human Rights Coalition, they are also looking for a youth intern, which is fantastic, for their LGBT Plus Summit. This is a paid internship for a youth to get involved, learn leadership skills, learn how to coordinate and advocate, and it's an opportunity to do that, do all that. And another thing is, they should, if you know a kid who's at all interested in this, they should apply. They could be 15, they could be 20, they could be 22, whatever. If you know someone who you think this would be a good opportunity, direct them to it, because even if they don't get selected, every time you think about yourself as a potential leader or coordinator, you get invested and you think, I could do this. I don't need to do this for this. I could do my own thing. And you can. These are opportunities for youth to imagine and empower themselves for what they can contribute. So if you know a queer youth anywhere in North Dakota that could be a good fit for this, please share this. Please share everything in this segment. This is a fire segment about great resources. So LG Plus Summit's coming up in October, and they're looking for a youth intern. Also, for queer youth, there is a tech opportunity, a tech grant for individuals 16 and up to get free computers, basically. The deadline for this is July 28th, so they can apply right now. The only thing you need is a referral from a LG Plus center. This is low bar. You can just ask Dakota outright, you can ask Magic City Equality, you can ask Harbor Health Initiative to give you a referral, and you can probably get one so long as you're a North Dakota resident and we know who you are. This is a really important opportunity. And like, organizations don't need to agree to be in this. They just have to basically say, I vet that you exist in this community and you are a real person. So any organization can do it. Basically, just ask them to help you, and I'm sure that they will. Other opportunities that are happening is that there is a Feed Your Kid This Summer event. This isn't LG Plus oriented, but there are kids that are queer who need help with food. So I just want parents to know that if they're struggling, there are programs for that and there's information for it. When I do this work, I do focus on our LG Plus youth a lot because that's my area of expertise, but I care about all kids. I care that all kids have support and love and food, just really basic stuff I want to make sure kids have, and that's why I do the work that I do. So I'm always looking at everything that can help any kiddo out. So that's a way to feed your kids. Some good news is California has banned forced outing queer students in general. This is really important. I know there's been a lot of conversations and a lot of feelings that go into parental rights and knowing youth status and how they identify, but at the end of the day, it's about safety. And I don't think anyone wants to hide a queer kid from their parent for 30 years or nothing like that. But we really want to make sure it's not, oh, by the way, your kid came out as trans today and you send that kid off to a home that might not be safe. It's so important that we have the means to vet their safety and that we can get parents to be invited to have better conversations in constructive ways to make sure that that kid is in a safe environment. We're often not asking parents to like 180 their entire worldview for trans kids or queer kids, but there are compromises we can make to make sure that these kids are safe and supported, fed, housed, and still believe in their future regardless of what's going on and what beliefs happen. Policies that out students only put them in harm's way. They don't help anyone. And that's what we see play out within the data and experiences of so many kids. So it's good that California is doing it, and I hope that more states do that as well. Just for now, it's an important part of protection. I also want to talk about that there is a motivational interviewing for LG plus parents right now that is open. I have more information I need to collect on this. I didn't get it right before my show, but it's an opportunity for an LG plus parent, and you kind of want to talk about that. Uh, Let me know. I can get you some more details of the event and what's going on with that. Not a strong pitch. I need more information at this point. And then the last thing I want to talk about is the Safe Harbors Project. So if you don't know, that's something I've been doing under Harbor Health Initiative as a program manager there. I am connecting with all K-12 professionals to make sure we can keep our queer youth as safe as possible. That is ultimately what I'm trying to do, and what that means could be different things. But typically, what it is I'm connecting professionals to each other. I'm connecting professionals to resources across North Dakota, both support and advocacy resources for their queer youth. And I'm making sure they have peer support because it's so stressful to be a social worker or educator in our North Dakota school systems and see your queer youth getting bullied at home or at school and just seeing them every day suffer without being able to do anything. There are so many limitations in North Dakota and so many cultural barriers. So there's no safe harbors will do X, Y, or Z. What Safe Harbors is going to do is whatever they can. It is a harm reductive approach to make sure our kids are as safe as possible. If we're forcing kids to be outed to their parents who are very unsafe to them, and if that's what we're deciding to do as a state, what can I do about that? What I can do is make sure we have welfare checks and that kid knows how to call it. So that's some of the work I'm doing with Safe Harbors, is to make sure that we can keep our queer youth as safe as possible in connecting with broadly everyone in our K-12 system. I'm still doing work obviously with our directory and with connecting youth in every way possible, similar to the Trans Youth Project. So if you ever need any help finding resources, that's things I continue to update on. I just want you to know that there's a lot of great opportunities to protect trans youth, and it's going to get better very slowly and not as not as fast as we'd like. That's the same as very slowly. But I'm working on this, and every day I feel like more people want to help, whether that's the North Dakota Human Rights Coalition or the Trans Youth Emergency Project or several other doctors or teachers, a social worker. Every day people come up and say, how do we make sure trans kids are safe? So have hope and know that there are hundreds of people working on this, and we will make it better every day. We'll try to make it better. Well, thank you everyone for watching my show. That's all I have for today. I hope you have a good rest of your week. I hope we see you back here next week. Just want to give some thank yous to all the folks here who contributed to the show, who made it all a great time and informed us about the cool stuff they're doing. He will be my outro probably for a while until I choose to change it. You all have a good day. Bye.